Brother, your biggest battle isn't against the world. It's against your fear of change. 'Cause the truth is that growth is hard and not particularly comfortable. But part of you has to die in order for the rest of you to live. So let the old you go. Mike Tyson said, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face." And it's just as true in boxing as it is in life. Because you can set all the goals and make all the plans you want, but sometimes you're going to get punched in the face. And you can dream up what the future looks like. Then you just get punched in the face. But the difference between getting knocked out and being able to keep fighting is how focused you are on the next step toward your goals. And you have to be crazy enough to think it's far severe. That's how you're going to beat the odds.
Because those who believe win. What if I'm so far away from my dream now that I die before I actually reach it? Die on the road. Die on the road. How much longer are you going to avoid what you are capable of doing in order to continue with what you are comfortable doing? And I just let that sit and let them reflect on that question, because it could be the very thing they need to realize it's them stopping them. Now, I don't know who needs to hit this, but quit letting who you were talk you out of who you're becoming, because you're not that same person anymore. You've grown, you've healed, you've learned, but sometimes the old version of you still tries to whisper, reminding you of your failures, your mistakes, and your fears. Don't listen, because that voice doesn't belong to who you are now. You've worked way too hard to let your past hold the pen to your future. It's time to silence the old you and walk boldly into who you're becoming. What a privilege to be tired from the work you once begged the universe for. What a privilege to feel overwhelmed by growth you used to dream about. What a privilege to be challenged by a life you created on purpose. I am no longer going to be watching any football, and I'm no longer going to have Netflix at all. And that is what I'm giving up for 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's what I'm sacrificing. And I think a lot of people create these to-do lists when, in my experience, it's been so much more useful to write down all the things that I'm willing to sacrifice. Because if you sacrifice everything, there's nothing left than to do the one thing that matters. Most of everyone who's listening to this who isn't achieving what they want is with their time. They think that they're spending all their time working, but you don't even know how to work. I'm being really real with you. Like, you think you know how to work, you don't know how to work. And I'll measure this by, like, what is your output? It's probably not as high as you think. And so rather than trying to learn all these productivity hacks, the ultimate productivity hack is no. N-O. Where would you be if you observed and judged your own behavior the exact same way that you observe and judge other people's behavior? They watch people do things and they're like, why do they act that way? Why do they make those decisions? Do you ever stop to ask yourself those questions? What if you gave yourself the criticism that you so easily dish out to other people? You've got no problem being the armchair quarterback of everyone else's day-to-day lives, but you don't stop to look yourself in the mirror. If you question your own behavior, your own thoughts, your own decisions, just like you do everyone else, I guarantee you're going to find a lot of problems that you're going to want to solve. Problems that if you solved them, you could change your whole life. And you're never going to figure any of that out if your eyes are on everyone else. You're going to spend your whole life focusing on problems that you can't solve. At a point, you just have to start doing it for a love of the gain. I've said this many times before. Living a life of fulfillment and purpose is war. And to be more specific, spiritual war. But also, it doesn't mean it has to be this dreadful thing. Like, yeah, it can certainly be treacherous. There's no doubting that. But there's also kind of a beauty there, something like a dance or a hauntingly beautiful poem. So, like, yeah, it can be hard sometimes. But now such a statement seems so shallow. If you're listening to me right now and you hear these words and you're somebody that struggles with self-doubt or imposter syndrome, I'm going to tell you something. The research about confidence is very clear that confidence isn't a feeling. You don't feel confident. Confidence, the definition I want you to really embrace and live by, is the willingness to try. Because every time you try, especially in the face of doubt, you are displaying that you believe in your ability to survive whatever happens next. And so it's in the trying that you show yourself that you are capable of trying something and failing. And what makes you feel full of doubt and imposter syndrome is that you sit in your head and tell yourself you can't. And every day that you wake up and you don't do the thing, whether it's going to the gym or asking that person out, stop doing that. Stop. And the second that you take action in a different direction, you start to see yourself differently. Insert emotion. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm whatever. I was like, if you weren't, I'd be worried about you because this is a serious commitment. And so the fact that you're nervous or the fact that you're afraid makes you just like everyone else who succeeds. But you know what you have in common with a lot of people that absolutely change their lives? They say the same thing. Do you associate this negative feeling with being the successful person they want to be? That's not an easy task because we all are trying to be something, but we already are that something we're trying to be. That doesn't mean you can't be better, but it's like accepting and appreciating what you really are. And instead of projecting, something else, takes a lot of pain out of your body, gets a lot of fears to just disappear. And I don't have an easy path for that. I think it's the hero's journey. What is it? Your life is ordinary and everything seems fine, and then something hits you and it's the call to adventure. It doesn't feel like a call. It feels like someone in your family's got cancer. It feels like, COVID, somebody shut down your business, or, some issue that's happening in your relationship with your kids. But if you take the call and you go on the journey, you're going to meet some new friends. You're going to find some new mentors. You're going to battle with internal things within you and external things. But if you keep going, you're going to eventually slay your dragons and you come out in the hero of your own life and you have something to share. It's not something you read somewhere. It's something you've lived. Makes life really, really beautiful. Becoming closer to your vision, becoming the person that you strive to be, does not demand perfection, but rather the persistent and pure desire for better and for good. It's easy for us to get hyper-fixated on not making a mistake or not making a wrong turn. When we start to overanalyze and paralyze ourselves with fear or doubt, it makes us hesitant in the way we pursue action. And hesitancy is not good. These mistakes, these failures, these wrong turns ultimately do not matter. The only thing that is demanded of you in order to make the changes that you want to make is the pure and persistent desire to be better and to be good. And this paired with time, anything can be. Do you see this? An hourglass. It's a perfect reminder of how time flows. The sand at the top, that's the future, completely out of your control. Sand at the bottom, that's the past, already gone. But this, the flow in the middle, that's the present. And that is where life happens. You can't speed it up. You can't slow it down. All you can do is focus on this moment. One of the things that I'd like to teach people when there's a problem, and we all have problems, not all of us can deal with the world and war, but we can deal with our own problems. When a problem comes up, one of the best things to say is, all is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. And out of this situation, this so-called problem, only good will come. And I am safe. And, this is something that's very powerful. All is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this experience, only good will come. And I am safe. And what that does, it quiets your mind down. You cannot grow. You cannot mature. You can't get better. You can't become anything of value to yourself or to anyone else if you shut the door to regrets. Now, you don't let regrets drag you down. You don't let them destroy you. All right, I've talked about this before. You don't let the man that you used to be destroy the man that you are today or the man that you're trying to be today. All right, but balanced regret is what helps you become a better man. Unbalanced guilt of who you were and what you were in the past or today destroys you. Balanced, open-eyed, thoughtful regret of poor decisions you made in the past is what helps you build and become better and become stronger. That is that check valve that helps you not make that decision again. Make a promise and keep it every single day of your life, and you will no longer be afraid of yourself. The fear only comes from uncertainty, and if you don't know what to expect from you, that's what gets you in trouble. If you're a thoughtful person with strong intention, it probably feels like everyone's against you, so you better get on your own team so you don't feel alone. When you're on your own team keeping the promises, you will sacrifice a lot. But I will tell you from experience that the sacrifice is worth every single moment. Once you realize you don't have to bear the emptiness that consumes all too much of this world. What kind of permission do you need to do the thing that you and I both know you really want to do? The thing that not everyone is going to approve of, but you know you're meant to do. What kind of permission do you need to get up and get after it? Yes, there's some risk, mostly just a bruised ego, but you know what's a hell of a lot worse than that? Living with the regret of inaction. Knowing the thing that you need to do, the scary steps that you have to take to grow into the person that you know you want to be, and doing nothing. So if you need it, this is your permission slip. Go do what you need to do. It says life is not linear, it's cyclical. Accepting this allows us to flow with the process instead of resisting it. Like we just said, understand that life is cyclical. You are going to move in cycles as an individual, right? So don't get so emotionally attached to the seasons where everything feels good that you think that that's how your whole life should be forever. Because the moment it isn't that, you're going to feel like everything's hitting the fan. Something's wrong. You're doing something wrong. You're going to internalize that and identify with that. Just because you don't feel good doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Just because things are difficult does not mean you're going the wrong direction. No, it's a part of moving in the right direction. And you have to be willing to embrace those times, understanding they're serving a greater purpose. You have to remind yourself of this. Understand it is serving a greater purpose. This is part of the journey, and it will not last forever. And so many people, they need to have a 5K, a 10K. I need to have a course in front of me. I need to have something in front of me for me to get my ass up and do something. And that used to be me. And nowadays, past 20 some years, I don't need purpose. And people miss out on this, man. The purpose, we're all looking for this golden purpose. Is it this? Is it that? Is it making money? Is it my family? The purpose is you. This worrying thing, it's the one part of my life that if I could go back, I would fix. Even the things I worried about in my life, when they actually happened, they weren't as bad in my... Sometimes it's not about the things you need to do that make us successful. It's the things we need to stop doing that hold us back. But I'm telling you right now, those weak habits, they gotta break. Your mindset has to be reshaped. You have to believe the odds are beatable even when people say it's impossible. That's what I call faith. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's what it's gonna take. 24/7, 365, you gotta live it, breathe it, be it every single day. You gotta conquer and challenge that gets in the way, and remember, it's more about what you do and less about what you say. So if your life couldn't say one word, what would your life speak? Would it still say you about that life? Would it still say you about conquering your struggle to create new peaks? Would it still say you about getting the most out of your life? Every moment matters, especially when you realize over 150,000 people die every night. That's 55 million people a year. Ain't none of this promise, ain't none of this guaranteed. So the question I'll leave you with is this. When you fight your last fight, when you breathe your last breath, if this was your last year, what's the legacy that you're gonna leave? Get up and go live your dreams. Make the world respect your greatness. Make this year your year. It all starts with you.
I was poor because I didn't have anything. I didn't have money, I didn't have things, we had no TV, we had no refrigerator, we had nothing as kids. But I was rich because I had a dream of becoming the greatest bodybuilder, but I had no idea that it would go as far as it did. I'm here to talk about success. The first rule of success is to have a vision. You see, if you don't have a vision of where you go, and if you don't have a goal where to go, you drift around and you never end up anywhere. I mean, as you know, I was born in 1947 in Austria after the Second World War. So I was very fortunate that I stumbled onto my vision. And I didn't really like Austria when I grew up. I couldn't wait to get out of there. I couldn't see myself becoming a farmer or work in a factory or anything like that, even though my parents wanted me to stay there and have a normal life. But it was their vision, not mine. My vision was totally different. I felt that I was born for something special, for something unique, for something big. Never ever think small. If you're going to accomplish anything, you have to think big. You have to go and shoot for the stars. The biggest challenge most people have is because they think small. And the reason why people think small and why they choose smaller goals is because they're afraid to fail. They know that if you shoot for a big goal, then the chances of failing are very high. And they're afraid of failing. It is one of the most common things where people are frozen, why they cannot make a move in life because they're scared of failing. I say to myself, hey, I'm not worried about failing because that's part of life. You're not going to go and win everything, and how far can you fall? Look at this. This is the ground. That's as far as it can fall. And you know something? The only time you really consider the failure is if you fall and you don't get up. Everyone has a problem with time. But the day is 24 hours and we sleep 6. Now, I know there's some out there that say, whoa, I need 8. Why say just sleep a little faster? Because the bottom line is we have 6 hours of sleep, 24 hours available, so you have 18 hours now available. Do you work, your family, your hobbies, and also to learn something new. I went to college, I went and worked out 5 hours a day, and I was working in construction because in those days in bodybuilding there was no money. I didn't have the money for food supplements or anything, so I had to go to work. So I worked in construction, I went to college, I worked out in the gym, and at night from 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight I went to acting class 4 times a week. So I did all of that. There was not one single minute that I wasted. And this is why I'm standing here today. People always come up to me and say, why are you smiling? You're working out 5 hours a day and you're doing the same as the other guys, but the other guys have a sour face. They're pissed off that they have to do another rep or another set or something. I looked forward to another 1,000 reps of sit-ups. I look forward to another 500 pounds of leg press or squat. I look forward to doing more and more curls until my arms fall off. Why? Because I know that every rep that I did and every set that I did and more weights that I lifted, I get one step closer to turning that vision into reality. So I was turned on by that. I was excited. I couldn't wait to get to the gym. Training is part of my life. It's that simple. Nothing will ever change, and I will be working out till I die. And Muhammad Ali worked his butt off, and I saw it firsthand. And I remember that there was a sports writer that was there in the gym when he was working out, and he was doing sit-ups. And they asked him, how many sit-ups do you do? And he said, I don't start counting until it hurts. Now think about that. He doesn't start counting his sit-ups until he feels pain. That's when it starts counting. That is working hard. And so you can't get around the hard work. It doesn't matter who it is. Work your ass off. There is no magic bill. There's no magic out there. You cannot get around. You have to work and work and work. Make sure of this and make sure of that and all that stuff. So it's work. Give it up. Give up that war. You know, the war that you have to really fight is the war against yourself. You have to fight a war against yourself. Now, it's not easy to look in the mirror and to change your own life. It's hard as hell. You have to take responsibility. You have to learn new things. You have to feel uncomfortable. Good, because uncomfortable is how we grow. That's how we become strong. If you run away from discomfort and resistance your whole life, you will always be weak. Remember one thing. Through every dark night, there's a bright day after that.
Along the way, you're gonna need to do things you don't want to do, or might not think you can do. It's okay to be scared, it's natural to doubt yourself. But if you can push through that and do what needs to be done, you'll do just fine. Here's a simple rule. Never, ever, ever let your mood dictate what you do. You have to take action first because movement changes your mood. If you want to be an author, write. And when you're done writing, your mood will be amazing. If you want to be healthier, exercise, and your mood after you move will feel incredible. Do not let the mood you're in now dictate what you do next. Act like the person you want to become, and when you start taking those actions and you start moving in the direction of your dreams and the things that you want and deserve in life, your mood will follow. It'll feel great, and you, my friend, will be getting it done. Discipline acknowledges your feelings, but does not act on them. Discipline acknowledges that you do not want to put in the work, but you do it anyways. If you live your life off the fuel of motivation, you will run out and you will fail. But if you go off of discipline, you will always push forward. Discipline does what's required despite how you feel. Everybody tells you when you get knocked out, stand right back up. Don't let them see you knocked down. I totally disagree with that. Totally disagree with that. Because if you stand up, you're going to stand up the same individual that got knocked the same way you got knocked out. You're the exact same person. Stay down there. Understand why you got knocked out, why you're down there, so when you stand up, there's something different about you. When you get knocked down, and you are going to get knocked down, when you stand up stronger. You get knocked down again, stay down there. When you stand up, you're going to stand up with more talent. You get knocked down again, stay down there. You're going to be more intelligent. You're going to be more resilient. Every time you get knocked down, there has to be a different, better version of you standing up. Otherwise, you're going to keep getting knocked down. Being a winner is a curse. It doesn't matter how much you've won before. You're not a winner until you win again. That again and again, nothing is enough. No one understands, and you never want it to stop. Go all out. Find a way to win in spite of the setbacks, in spite of the disappointments, in spite of your failures. Fail your way to success. As life knocks you down, try to land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Fear establishes the boundaries of our freedom. So whatever you're afraid of, that becomes your limitation. If you're afraid of heights, you stay low. If you're afraid of people, you stay alone. If you're afraid of failure, you stay safe. And when you realize fear establishes the boundaries of your freedom, the moment you press through those fears, now you have unlimited freedom. You know that you put the work in and have the confidence to let it show. What I tell people is just be the best version of yourself in anything that you do. You don't have to live anybody else's story. Sometimes people make it seem like you have to have certain prerequisites, but the truth is you really don't. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you have or don't have, what you lack, what you have too much of, but an undying passion for what you do or what you choose to do in this life, and a relentless drive and the will to do whatever it takes to be successful. There's a lot of talk every day about conspiracy theories and about things that are floating around. And you know what's not a conspiracy theory? You. You know what's not a conspiracy theory of your life? You. You know what doesn't need to be negotiated amongst the news and people and peers is your vision, your heart, your soul, your family. Focus at home. Don't worry about what's floating around in the media and who says this and who says what. Pay attention, see what they say, but realize something. Your life is not a conspiracy theory. Focus on that. Focus on your family. Focus on your goals. Focus on your vision. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of chatter. One of the best places that you can spend your time, energy, bandwidth,
your heart and soul reside within the four walls of your own hall. You need to understand that everything in life initially feels like negative reinforcement. You start going to the gym and you feel weak so you can become strong. You go to the library, you read, you don't comprehend, you feel inadequate in order to become knowledgeable. The process of discomfort is unavoidable. You have to endure it. Most people feel that initial sense, that first lack of self-belief, because they don't understand that humility must come first in every area for growth to happen. You have to face that parallel problem solving. You solve it, and then you receive the reward. None of us know what will happen. We cannot predict how this journey will unfold. If imagining a future better than your present seems difficult, know that you are not alone. Sometimes we all feel stuck, fearful, overwhelmed, and lost. But despite this, we always find a way to continue. Remember how you got here. You overcame every obstacle you faced, and I believe you will overcome this too. I think the first thing a person needs is a dream. You must have a dream. I don't understand how anyone lives in peace, happiness, or fulfillment without one. A dream must be something realistically achievable. Otherwise, it's not a dream, it's a fantasy. But you need a dream, and don't fear dreaming big. As the saying goes, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not large enough. Your dream must surpass who you are right now. There is a certain person you must remove from your life today. The person who wants to remind you of who you once were. The person who wants to remind you of how you used to act, what you used to do, how you used to do it. That version of you is gone. Anyone trying to resurrect that person should not be in your life. Nothing is more crucial than removing people who want to pretend you are who you were yesterday. They wish to act as though you are still that person. You are evolving. You are growing. You're advancing. Focus on yourself now. Anyone who tries to pull you back, anyone who pretends you are the same person they knew years ago, remove them from your life. Focus on your trajectory. Don't live with an all-or-nothing mentality where everything must be perfect, in perfect order, just like that Instagram guy you follow. His full-time job is personal development. He's paid to sit in a cold plunge. You are not. You will make mistakes. You will fail. If you think in all-or-nothing terms, when it's not all, it will feel like nothing. You'll be the person who gets one flat tire and slashes the other three because they aren't perfect. That's senseless. The measure isn't perfection. It's whether you're closer to who you want to be or further away. Are you on the right path? Focus on progress. not perfection. This is for you. I've realized that after achieving a certain level of comfort, the only person this matters for is you. Your conscience knows honesty. Optimizing to make that inner voice content is wise. What if every problem were a gift? What if every challenge were happening for you, not to you? What if everything in life were guided? What if everything, even pain, was divine timing? What will you do when no one is watching? Will you uphold your standards or cut corners? I strive to live by my standards at all times, especially when unseen, because discipline and strength are forged in solitude. Every person should have core values, a mission, and a vision. Most don't. Most drift in others' visions, moving from one to another, then wonder why life hasn't worked out. The reason is you don't live by your own mission. You cut corners when no one's watching. You'll lose that way. It's always harder, slower, and costlier than expected. That's why it's worthwhile. The difficulty is what makes you stronger. The higher the climb, the thinner the air, the rarer the explorer must be. Endure temporary pain. On the other side, meet a new version of yourself. When I wanted to quit, I didn't commit to never quitting for life. I committed to one more day. One more day. Just don't quit. People who win are disciplined. They don't casually attempt, they commit fully. This requires consistency and discipline. As you study, you'll learn skills. You can learn anything, but discipline is essential. There's a revered master almost impossible to reach. A young samurai asks, "How long to mastery?" The master says, 10 years. The samurai asks, "What if I work twice as hard, day and night?" The master replies, 20 years. Why? Because if one eye is fixed on the goal, only one remains to find the path. The ability to detach from outcomes is crucial. Set the goal, know the aim, then release it. Progress may take longer than expected, but every day counts. Private victories often precede public accomplishments. Most never ask or act. That's what separates dreamers from doers. You must act. You must risk failure. Fear of failure limits progress. Discipline is essential. Even when you don't feel like it, act. Follow your dream by doing what's hard, what doesn't come naturally. Loneliness is universal. Though rarely discussed, it can feel suffocating, like being forgotten. But what if loneliness is a key to self-understanding? Misunderstood, it's not emptiness, but reconnection with yourself. In a world demanding attention, solitude is rare and powerful. We equate busyness with a full life. In quiet, loneliness can feel like failure, as if being alone makes you incomplete. This is wrong. Loneliness reveals what's yet to be found within. When stripped of distractions, you're left with yourself, the real you, flaws and all. True growth happens in discomfort, not in constant validation. Sit with yourself, embrace solitude, understand yourself, and discover your desires. Silence clarifies, stripping distractions to reveal priorities. Hear the voice inside, the dreams on hold, truths avoided. Loneliness gives answers, the foundation for the life you're meant to create. Comfort in your own company is powerful. It's stability amidst chaos. Loneliness becomes choice, reflection, recharge. Time alone is never wasted. It's transformative. It teaches resilience, clarity, and internal strength. Embrace it. Build within. Rediscover yourself in solitude. Everything you seek is found there. Storms test us, but staying true ensures what's for you finds you. This is your comeback. Momentum shifts here. Your vision, your purpose, your life's task. Focus gives direction and energy. Life isn't about boredom or routine. It's exhilarating to have clarity. You wake each morning knowing what to accomplish. Distractions fade. Internal radar guides you. You are the creator of time, memories, habits, relationships. Everything you build, good or bad, is yours. Continuous creation sustains energy and momentum. Personal growth begins with self-opinion. Commit to mastery. Become your best self. Set an example for others. Be the change you seek. Life is full of ups, downs, twists, turns. Embrace them with open mind and heart. Growth is sometimes beautiful, sometimes painful. Accept all seasons. They serve purpose. Forward is progress. Comparison is irrelevant. If 6 months pass without achievement, it's okay. Time is your ally. You are enough, deserving, capable. Life is not a race. Your journey matters. Struggle is necessary. The greater the struggle, the greater the peace. You will overcome what seems impossible. Soon, new memories will fill the emptiness. What comes will be better than what's gone. Reinvent, rebuild, rethink. Anytime. You're never too old, too young, too late. Goals evolve. Adapt to what motivates you now. Don't dwell on old goals. Face chaos and pain. They contain lessons. Your darkest moments hold your greatest gifts. Rock bottom allows rebirth. Not everyone gets this. The pages are blank. You are the author.
The greatest tool is never giving up. Life is peaks and valleys, victories and setbacks, testing limits and resilience. Pursuing your dream is challenging. The path may seem impossible. Challenges forge character. Setbacks are stepping stones, opportunities to grow stronger. Waiting for a perfect moment is futile. It begins when you act. Action creates the perfect moment in retrospect. Seeking more is not about adding, it's often about removing. Success requires acknowledging mistakes, correcting course, and persisting. Recall your passion, your dreams. Perseverance, not talent, defines achievers. You can achieve greatness. The road is long, but determination conquers obstacles. Embrace difficulties. They temper your spirit. Every failure teaches. Every setback sets up a comeback. Every doubt fuels your drive. Believe in yourself. Quitting is a detour, not an option. Stand tall, fight, persist. Your perseverance leads to success. You are unstoppable, resilient, destined for greatness. Change starts with a choice. Surround yourself with action takers. Set high standards. Let one decision spark transformation. Happiness is forged in struggle, intensity, consistency, and discipline. Endure daily challenges for your future self. Over time, events align. Every closed door, every challenge, every despair serves a plan. You are targeted by forces meant to challenge your faith, but your energy surpasses any evil. It is the source of all existence.